Thank you very much y bienvenidos a todos. Es un placer estar aquí con ustedes esta mañana. Such a pleasure to be here in this very important discussion about California and Mexico and the important relationship that we have. It is a pleasure to be with you, Ambassador, Fernando, Secretario. Just a wonderful program that has been put together for all of you today on so many important issues that are happening here in Los Angeles. And maybe they're not issues, they're just exciting times. I hope you all agree with me that it's exciting times. But also times that it becomes even more and more important for us to work together, to collaborate, to be in constant dialogue, and continue to grow that very important relationship between the United States and Mexico. And I'm a believer. I know we're talking about California and Mexico here today, but I'm a believer that that relationship starts with Los Angeles. This economy here and the international aspects of the Los Angeles region is one that should be appreciated, should be a priority for the United States, and we will always advocate for that because of our proximity, because of the culture that we have here in Los Angeles with our Mexican people that is just ingrained in every aspect of society. So I think that today's conversation is not one and done. We talked this morning about the many action items that can happen and will happen as we prepare for the review of the USMCA and how important our voice will need to be together when we talk about making sure that that treaty continues. When we think about the events that are going to happen here in Los Angeles, whether it's the Olympics or the World Cup, the LA Chamber is at the center of making sure that this region is prepared for all of that. And we believe that there's so many opportunities for our international community, for Mexico, to be part of those plans. And broadly, when we think about just the good work of a good neighbor and the partnership that can happen through our university systems, through workforce initiatives, through many other aspects of life here in Los Angeles and in Mexico, we know that that can start here in Los Angeles. So I am thrilled to be here. I'm thrilled to see so many of you begin this conversation and to really take it to a next level. I think we're at the beginning of a beautiful relationship, and I've already had the opportunity to visit and be part of many initiatives. I was just in Mexico City with Mayor Bass for the inauguration and many activities that happened there. I know Mayor Bass's Deputy Chief of Staff, Celine Cordero, is unfortunately unable to join us this morning, but you should know that the LA Chamber works very closely with Mayor Bass and that she has it as the top of her initiatives to ensure that we can build on this relationship with Mexico. So I'm happy to take that message back to her team and to her to let her know that this very important briefing happened and that it will continue to happen. So thank you so much and welcome to a great day here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marianne. Up next, we'd like to hand over the word to Fernando Sepúlveda, founder and CEO of MTech and chairman of AEM.
Thank you, Fernando. And thank you to the LA chapter of AEM who put together this wonderful event. I want to recognize the leadership of Juan Carlos and Fernando and all the team in our LA chapter to put together this wonderful event. And I want also to thank and recognize Maria, our partner in crime, and Ambassador Carlos Gutiérrez, who helped us really not only put together this event, but actually articulate a constant dialogue on how we can deepen the relationship, not only the economic relationship, but the relationship at all levels between California and Mexico. As you know, California and Mexico are number one trading partners to each other, right? And the Mexican population, not only in LA, but all across California, is a majority. It's the largest demographic group. So California is very, very important. So kind of having a continuous dialogue in terms of how can we deepen that relationship is very, very important. And I'm particularly thankful to Kurt because Baja California actually highlights the success of that integration. The success story of the Cali-Baja region as a mega region, right? And the possibility of that expanding into a larger economic zone is, I think, something that is very exciting and should be kind of a blueprint of what successful economic collaboration and integration is. So we're very thankful to have Baja California as our feature state. And throughout the day, we're going to be hearing about many success stories of how that economic integration is happening and how we've moved from selling goods to each other to actually making North America and California and Mexico in particular a hyper-competitive region that competes with the rest of the world, right? So now we're not only selling goods to each other, we're actually innovating together and we're building stuff together, right, to benefit our communities, bring prosperity to our region, and to compete with other economic regions in the world. So we're super excited to have this forum, and we have kind of two underlining narratives throughout the forum, right? And it's kind of the yin and the yang, right? The risks and the opportunities. So I know many of us are worried and concerned about the geopolitical headwinds, right, that we might be facing, right? And yesterday we had a wonderful keynote conversation with Duncan Wood about what to expect on the U.S. Mexico relationship in the years to come, right? And particularly, we have the revision of the USMCA in 2026. The work for that has already started, right? So even though it's in 2026, we're all busy working and preparing for that big conversation that's going to happen on 2026, right? So there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of headwinds, right? But with that also comes great opportunity, right? And I love to show people kind of a chart of what happened to commerce last time Trump was president, right? And if you look at the data, right, we had plateaued for almost 10 years, a little bit ups and downs in terms of international trade between Mexico and the US, right? So in a way, NAFTA was running out of steam, right? We were plateauing. And all of a sudden, commerce just doubled, right? As a result of multiple factors, right? The ratification of the USMCA, confrontation with China, many, many factors, right? The pandemic. But the truth of the matter is that in the last 8 years, our commerce has doubled, right? And it has diversified. It used to be mostly about automotive industry. Still, the automotive industry is a big part of our joint success story. But now there's so much more. There's energy, there's aerospace, there's medical devices, electronics. Now it's semiconductors and data centers and many, many other things, right? So I think there's opportunity. And who builds opportunity? Businesses. We are the drivers of the economic integration, right? Governments facilitate or hinder that economic integration, but it is up to us to continue growing that relationship And I'm very, very excited that we've been able to consolidate a dialogue forum that year after year builds on the conversation on how can we deepen our relationship with probably the two states that are most important for the U.S. Mexico relationship, which is California and Mexico and Texas and Mexico. And as AEM, we've been focused on those two big regions as kind of the backbone of what we think can and should be the next wave of economic and social and cultural integration between our two countries. And I think, as Maria was saying, there's a great opportunity not only on the business side, right, but also how do we change the narrative, right? How do we use soft power to change the narrative about our relationship, right? And we were talking about sports and how sports can become an ambassador, a cultural ambassador to the North American region, right? And we're going to have a trinational World Cup in a couple of years. LA is going to play a huge role in that. So how do we leverage that not only for business opportunity, but also to change the narrative, how we are doing things together? We're going to have a specific panel with sports teams, right, on soccer, baseball, and kind of other sports. And in some way, we're already, MLS and Liga MX are already doing a joint tournament, right? And why not? Maybe those two leagues will merge and we can create kind of one of the most competitive leagues in the world. And the same happens in technology, in finance, in media and entertainment, all of these things that can help us not only do business, but also change the narrative and give substance to the idea that we are better together, right? It doesn't make sense to have the United States doing their thing and Mexico doing their thing and Canada doing their thing. We need to work together because we're better together, right? So if the U.S. is in a trajectory to strengthen its own economy and the internal political narrative is making the U.S. stronger, right? I think we should change the narrative and we should say, let's make North America strong, right? I don't want to use the political motto, but we all know, right? So we need to make North America stronger. So we're all here believers of the North American project. We're big believers in collaboration, cooperation. So we're very, very excited to have this event. And thank you to all for being here. I know many of you CEOs of companies and very busy schedules, but I think having a dialogue with these type of stakeholders and at this level can be really consequential. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you all for our partnership.
Thank you so much, Fernando. Up next, we'll have welcome remarks from Ambassador Carlos González Gutiérrez, Consul General of Mexico in Los Angeles.
Muchas gracias, Fernando, y muchas gracias a todos ustedes por acompañarnos. My name again is Carlos González Gutiérrez. I am the Consul General of Mexico in Los Angeles, and I'm very grateful to la AEM, Fernando, Juan Carlos for their kind invitation to be part of this ceremony, this whole seminar, the invitation to the consulate for participating in the organization of such an important event. I'm also grateful with Maria and the Chamber for being partner of us in this seminar. And I'm grateful to Kurt and to all our friends from Baja California who came to support this and to promote greater integration between Los Angeles and the Cali-Baja region. I have known many of you for several years. I see Jeff Penichet, who I met 30 plus years ago when I arrived first time to Los Angeles to to study at USC and then to serve in my first tour of duty at the Mexican consulate in LA. And I arrived in November of '89 to the consulate. And back then, one of the very first tasks that I had as the first consul for community affairs that the consulate had was to promote the idea of signing an agreement between the U.S., Mexico, and Canada. We organized events in which the founding fathers of NAFTA, like Herminio Blanco, Jaime Serra, came to events like this in order to promote NAFTA. Back then, I remember very well, and I'm sure you all remember as well, the president was George W. Bush, and the Republican Party has two basic tenets. One, immigration in the end is good for the country that receives the immigrants. And two, free trade is always good. Those basic tenets, as we discussed last night, are long gone. The candidate that won the elections 3 weeks ago represents the spectrum, the part of the political spectrum in this country that doesn't believe anymore that free trade is necessarily good or that immigration in the long term benefits the US. And that is, on the one hand, a huge challenge for people like us who are here because we, simply put, we need to change our chip. Things have changed and we need to start doing things differently because on the Republican Party, as well as in the Democratic Party, as it was discussed yesterday during Javier's and Duncan Wood's panel discussion, or fireside conversation, as they call it, as it was evident then, both Democrats and Republicans have strong protectionist inclinations, isolationist inclinations that we need to recognize and act upon. But it's also an opportunity because things have greatly changed in these 30+ years that separates my first tour of duty in LA from my second tour of duty. Now we have very powerful friends, such as Maria Salinas heading the Chamber of Commerce. Back then, who could imagine that a Mexican-American woman would be heading the LA Chamber of Commerce? And just mention Maria as an example, but there are literally hundreds of Latino elected officials at the local and state level in California that are very, very good friends of Mexico, to a great extent because their families come from Mexico, and they have a better understanding of us. Things have changed because now we are the #1 trading partner of the United States with $800 billion trade, and we are #1 export market of California. We have now, and I don't have to tell you, you know this even, better than me, we have now a common shared production platform with the United States that make us unique if compared with other countries. So now we have assets that we did not have 30 years ago, and just as it is challenging to change our chip, it is also an immense opportunity to take into our hands the responsibility of advocating and defending and protecting these assets that we have created during the last 3, almost 4 decades. We can do it by being very determined, by being very proactive, by not asking our friends in the United States to read between lines, but being very clear, and by working as we are doing now together in an organized way. So I hope that what this meeting represents in terms of a gathering of people who believe, obviously, in free trade and in immigration, I want to think, people who believe that North America has a future as long as it's integrated between the 3 countries. I hope that this gathering of believers translates into a proactive campaign to defend the USMCA, to defend the free trade agreement, to defend the integration between California and Mexico.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. Up next, we'd like to welcome Kurt Ignacio Honold Morales, Secretary of Economic Development and Innovation from Baja California.
Buenos días a todas y todos. First of all, I want to ask, how many of you don't speak Spanish? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 7, 8. No, not you. Only 7. That means most of us speak Spanish, so that's very good. First of all, I want to thank Fernando for the invitation. Thank you. Anytime that I have a chance to come, especially to California or United States to preach about Mexico and Baja California, I always take the hand, the feet, everything that I can take so he can invite me and pay my expenses, obviously. No, you don't. I've been working with him for the last almost 2 years in Baja California for the semiconductor industry, and that's why we know each other from the past, but now even better. And I just want to thank him not only for the invitation, but also for all the great work that he's been doing for us in Baja California. Maria, finally, nice to meet you. Carlos and Fernando talks very good about you, so thank you, and thank you for the invitation too, and I hope we're gonna do many things very soon together. Yes. And lastly, I want to tell you something. How many of you know Carlos González? Wow! I think we have a new mayor in Los Angeles now. I know Carlos very well because he was our Consul General in San Diego. Well, from Mexico in San Diego. For him was Marcela Celorio, who was very good. His energy, the love he has for Mexico and all the Mexicans in abroad, his passion left us when he came to Los Angeles empty. So I wanted to tell you, hey man, go back. We need you. No. Carlos' real title is not consul. He's an ambassador. His title is Ambassador of Mexico. But his position is Consul General of Mexico in Los Angeles. But his real title is Ambassador. So, Mr. Ambassador, Your Excellency, thank you for the invitation. Finally, you invite me to Los Angeles. And when he invited me, he always asked me, can you bring wine? So we only can bring, thanks to Becky, 18 bottles. That's what we can smuggle. 18 people cross the border very early in the morning, so we can get the 18 bottles. I'm very excited about what is coming in these coming years. President-elect Trump, when he said he said something that is very truth. When he took office, our economy between the two countries went up. And that's the truth. And so now everybody is like, what's going to happen, the tariffs and everything he says. Well, if I was the president of the United States, I would probably say the same. Because why? Because yes, we have a problem in the United States of fentanyl. Yes, we have a problem of illegal immigration. And so I probably will do the same and say the same. Because we need, United States, yes, need immigration, but legally. People, if they want to live in the United States, they will come legally, get their permits or their passport or whatever, but work and be legal in the United States. So I agree with him. In Baja California, our governor, before she took office, the first thing that she did is went to meet the Director General of CBP and Border Patrol. Because before being governor, she was mayor of Mexicali, so she knew how important was the relation with the United States, but especially the border crossings. So that's why the first thing she did is go there and tell them, I come here to talk to your eyes, and we need to work together and tell us the truth all the time. I'm gonna work with you with the immigration. We're gonna have enough shelters in our side so people can wait there to get their appointment so they can see if they can become or can go to the United States, whatever position they are. It's called CBP-1. So what we do there in those shelters is we give them all the information to these people that come not only from Mexico but from many countries to look for a better place to live, because in the countries they don't have probably the way to have a better way of life. And so that's why they come to the United States. Most of them stays in Tijuana. And that's one of the powerful things that we have in our state, because that mosaic, you say mosaic, of all the states of Mexico are now in Baja California. So our culture is very huge, very big. And those people that come to look for a better way to place to work or to live, they come really to work. So it's very good people. 98% I can tell you is very good people, very hardworking people. They went to universities and there's a very good talent that we have. So for us, immigration is good, but legally. So we work very close together with the CBP and Border Patrol for that, and also to see how can we improve the lines. We understand that security for the United States is very important for many reasons: drugs, money, arms, and especially illegal, many things illegal, not only the people, but also organs and many things that cross the border to the United States. So we work with them together. We have a lot of intelligence. They tell us something, and we tell them whatever we know too. And so we are very closely working together like never before. So what that does is that makes the work with them even faster and easier. And we are doing many things to improve how to cross the border. We have the ferry that is coming from Ensenada to San Diego. If it works, it's going to have from Rosarito to San Diego, and then Playa de Tijuana to San Diego. But we're not looking at that as a tourist. We're looking at that as a border crossings using the ocean. And the other one is the CBX. The CBX, I don't know how many of you know the CBX. That's the bridge that we have at the airport. And one of the reasons that airport of Tijuana is really growing is thanks to the bridge. Because many people now, instead of using airlines from the United States, they have to go to either Texas or Phoenix or Atlanta or Miami to go to South America or Mexico. There were not too many flights to go to our country. So now they cross from the bridge and use our airport to go to all the different destinations in Mexico. And most of them is people that live in the United States and have families in our country. So the reason what we're doing now is to put that same concept, the pedestrian in San Isidro. And we are very advanced, and that's going to happen. And the reason these things are really happening is because the good relation that we have. He says something about Calibaja. Calibaja means California and Baja California. So it's not Tijuana and San Diego. No, it's California and Baja California. So the other meeting that the governor had also before she was elected is to meet with our big brother. That's Gavin Newsom. So we went to meet with our big brother, and we also told him the same thing. We need to work together in all the different things that we have in common. We have a lot of problems. Environment, the water that we send from Mexico to, well, we didn't send because it's a normal river that comes from the north, goes to the south, and comes to the north again. It's called San Isidro River or Tijuana River. And we are really, we are responsible, but it's bi-national committee that we work together to solve the problem. So we're working together, and our governor already, because using her, let's say her power, our president invest in the water treatment plant that we have in Tijuana, and with that, that is going to start working this month. We're going to reduce almost 80% of the contamination of the ocean in our side that goes sometimes to the north. So that's something when we work together, we talk to our eyes, things can happen. So now changing to the treaty. The treaty is a revision. It's not a new negotiation. But our President Trump is very smart. So he started to negotiate before he enters. That's why he said he's going to put 25% of tariffs and all that. He is only telling, hey, I'm going to be, and that's his way, because he's from the private sector. I will do the same. But at the end, we need each other. United States needs Mexico and Canada. Mexico needs United States and Canada needs also both. That's why we are North America. And we need to work together in a strength, understand who is our competition. Now the competition is China. And the reason you hear China is not because they are bad people or good people. The reason is because they are dumping. What dumping means is it's not normal competition. Normal competition is where you compete with somebody in the same terms. China is subsidizing almost 50% of what they produce. What that means? Let's say that a car from China costs $20,000. The same car that is sold in the United States is $40,000. And the reason is because in China they're subsidizing their 50%. So that's not legal competition. So what the United States is saying is, let's compete in the same terms, not subsidizing, and then we are the same. That's why. And this new revision is going to be China revision. It's not going to be United States and Canada. It's going to be how we can work. Yes, using some of the products from China, but at the same as the terms. So I see that's an opportunity for the three countries. An opportunity, obviously, for Mexico. So, and later on at 12:30, I think it's 12:30 or something like that, I'm going to be talking about Baja California. So I'm going to leave this so you can come at 12:30 because we're going to tell you what are we doing, what Baja California is good, and what you can do if you want to do business in Mexico, what Baja California can offer to you. So thank you again for the invitation, and I'm very excited to be at 12:30. Please come.